Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. In this session we would be discussing about routing as a master data. Routing works center production version C223, CS01, CR01. So are various master datas. So out of which routing is one of the most important master datas. The main thing of routing. So what it represents, how scheduling is performed, how is it interlinked. We would also discuss those things in short, but those things would be sufficient and enough. This not only is a part of operation but also answers three main important questions. Where will each step takes place? For example, sequence. What is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh sequence of any operation, and how much specific time per operation is required? So first operation, specific time in hours, minutes or something. So it could also be set, and specific things could then reduce the delays in time and fluctuations in future. So what work must be performed also is defined in routing. So routing is a master data operation, and it is always interlinked with the group counter, always interlinked with the other uh, operations, with for example procurement, routing a work center, and the key input parameters such as plant, and the MRP1 or the master data in MM01, MM02 that we already created. It is always linked with it. And so however it is, the routing links the product to an order set of operations and resources that perform them. And so this is the overview, and on the top is header and the scope column is also shown. So this is what the sequence is: first, second, third, and number of other sequences. And on the right side, base quantity, unit. So unit, setup time, then unit is hour, HR is hour. So the time required for setup is 1 hour. The In the very first operation, the time required for the setup is 1 hour. Time required for machine, so machine performance is 2 hour. So 2 hours for the specific first operation, bottle washing, SP. And for the labor is 1 hour, and the quantity is 1000 for each. So you can change the quantity as per the requirements on the spot of the project, or as per the planned in future planned, if anything is there. And group counter on the top side in the header process, there is a group counter, plant, material, and many important things that is associated with our routing. And eventually the work center, where operations are actually performed. If production has to be taken place, this data is used, and that this data is used in the work center to process and perform the actual production. So work center is a place where operations are performed, and here is where we plan the operations in short. So we plan in this sequence. So next is header and operations, we already discussed. So operation number in the operations, control key, standard values such as setup, machining. These are the valid, and these are the vital things to be as an input for any operation in routing, or in the operational sequential overview that we already saw in the last slide. And so you can also think header as the identity of recipe, and operation as the actual work instructions. Nothing more than that. Read an operation from left to right. For example, this is the first operation. Already we had seen the glimpse or overview of that. Cut raw material. So it is in short related to machining. So you have to cut it. So we say cut work center. The WC defines work center cut in short code. Control key PP01, which is very standard. So there are many other control keys for maintenance. If you need to plan a maintenance operation, so 2 to 3 different control keys for maintenance. Production has also a different control keys. This is the most standard one. So PPT02 is also there, and many other keys as per the requirements. But since this is the basic, and we are using the cutting as an operation, so PP01 is standard, and however setup time is 10 minutes and machine is 5 minutes. And also you can set the labor as the third one here. So this is the plan time. So however nothing, this is how the first operation looks, and this is how other operations with important details, they are defined and they are placed for successful running of any operation in the routing. So this is the work center where uh, the operations would take place. So work center is another master data like routing, but these things are connected to each other because as we already discussed, that work center is where operations are performed, and routing is something where operations in sequence are planned with specific details, with specific parameters like time, control key, and so on. So example of a simple pump assembly routing. So for example, we can define this as a assembly routing. For example, this is prepare housing and install components, test pump, and then pack finished unit, and then dispatch. So next after this goes to the procurement or goes to the shipping department. So dispatching, order processing, and dispatching. So this is where you prepare the housing where once it is manufactured, and you install all the components. If you have 7-8 components, then if the company or the firm is into the production small scale or mid scale, then they buy somewhere and they manufacture something and they assemble. So here you can prepare, assemble, so install components one, then test it. So testing is also one of the subtypes of maintenance. So testing, you need to test for quality if it works or not. So first operation, second operation, third operation, and fourth operation. So packing and then dispatch. So dispatch could also be set as the fifth operation as 0050 in the sequential overview of routing. It could be, but eventually goods received, goods issues, and sales order to sales or procure to pay. So once this part of so material management in SAP already has the capacity to perform. So shipping, dispatching, all those things are part of purchasing or procurement. But now, right now, this is an exact view of how components are installed and they are packed to the finished, and they could be stored into finished unit. So important T-code CA0 on create routing, change routing, and then display CA03 for any for work center. It is CR01, CR02, 3. 3 is for display every time it's a standard, and 2 is for change, and 01 is always to create. So routing data supports like operation capacity, planned activity, production order, operations. So they can vary, and behavior and speed of response can also vary according to the backend used. SPS for HANA, for example, GUI or the desktop version, if you are using, then it could perform slower. For example, it's an extension, it could perform much slower. It could give the exact result, but not an opposite replication of result, but it could give an exact result, but the speed of response compared to the Fury or something that runs on cloud is always less compared to that. So runs on cloud is faster. Runs on cloud is Fury example. We saw few pictures and few things of operations in Fury and some basic important apps. How to set up an app if you need on spot in Fury, we had discussed in one of our last sessions. So it depends. So in short, routing turns product design into executable work. So so this is like quick check and answer to our session, and which field tells SAP system where an operation is performed. It's work center. And the three important key things to remember are control keys, operational defined sequence, work center, and control the routing, header data identifications, and Even of course the next step is open a routing in CA03 and if this fields in a real example or hands-on to try. You can just open and you can just check the data, and the more you get into it, more you spend time, the more it is easy for a base clearance, and the more things to learn inside, because each data and each tab when you click, there are more other things to get into, and more customization also is a natural thing. You can go and you can configure, but we will eventually look after that step by step also in subsequent sessions and our discussions. So thank you so much, have a nice day.